Hi guys! So today I'm going to show you how I made this heart prop for my Queen of Broken Hearts character. I've never actually sculpted anything up until recently, so I've just been playing around with materials and seeing what I can get up to. I've filmed a bunch of different sculpting projects recently, but this is really the only one I want to share at the moment because I am still learning. But I do have plenty of sculpting projects coming up, so I hope you're as excited about that as I am. I do want to point out that this heart is 100% anatomically incorrect, but I would love to have a go at making a super realistic one day when I have the skills to. But until then, I'm pretty happy with this one. I think it's recognizable enough as a heart, and I really like how it came across in the pictures. So I'm using monster clay to sculpt the shape of the heart, and the clay gets softer when it's heated, so every now and then you're just going to see me blasting it with a heat gun, but generally the heat from your hands is enough to make it work. For photo's sake, I did keep the heart quite small. I think human heart is around the size of your fist, so I guess actually it's not that far off. I just wanted to make sure I could hold it in one hand, since the vision I had for my character was someone holding a heart up in a bloody hand. Next I added some veins on there, and I don't think they should be raised like this, so you could probably just use a tool and indent some vein shapes on there instead. You'll notice throughout this video I'm not really paying much attention to the back of this piece. That's because it wasn't important for me for this project, because you're only going to see one side of it in the picture. Plus it just makes the whole moulding process a lot more difficult, and since I'm a noob, I just wanted it to be as easy as possible. Next, I made a mould out of rubber latex so that I would have a negative of the sculpt that I just made, and then you fill that with whichever material you choose, and then you have the positive. So I just placed some plastic down on the desk and then laid latex on top of the heart, and I applied a decent amount of layers, probably around 10 layers or so it would be nice and thick. So this is what I was left with when the latex dried. So next I removed the clay heart from inside of this mould. So latex can stick to itself, and then it can, if you pull it, it can rip. So I'm brushing quite a lot of talcum powder as I go to avoid that from happening. And it came out quite easily. I had to cut away a bit more than I wanted to, but in the end it doesn't really matter because I don't end up filling the mould all the way to the top, so it's not a problem. So next I'm creating a hard outer shell, and I should have done this before I took the heart out of the mould, but I totally forgot. But it doesn't really matter. Instead I'm just going to place some plastic over the original heart and then create a really rough outer shell with plaster bandages. So then when I pour the gelatin into the mould later on, the latex isn't going to distort from the weight of that product. So instead it's just got this little hard shell to sit inside of so that it keeps that shape. So what I use to make my heart with is gelatin, and you can find gelatin at your local supermarket. These blocks are just made from gelatin powder, glycerin and water. So you can melt these guys down in the microwave and then just pour them straight into the mould. and you kind of just want to slush it around a bit as well and make sure it gets into all the little spaces. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough to fill up the whole mold, which was kind of annoying. I really hoped it would reach the top, but it didn't. But it's not the end of the world. It just means the back of it was just way flatter than I'd planned for it to be, but nah, you don't see the back, so it doesn't really matter. Then you want to let it set for a few hours, and there you go, you've got a squishy heart. I decided to paint it with some grease paints just to make it look a bit meatier. From watching other people paint flashy things on YouTube and stuff, I think silicone paints would be better for this kind of thing because they have that shine to them, you know, like meat, wood and organs. But that's not something I have access to yet, so I just used these grease paints that I had. I set with a powder between layers so that I could build up the colour without kind of brushing it off with my brush. Then finally I did a layer of liquid latex over the top to give it that kind of slimy shine. But then that's it. I really hope you enjoyed watching this process. I am definitely still learning, so thank you guys for joining me at the start of my sculpting adventures. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Bye.